nominate Honorable Tajuddin Abbas.
I so second.
I rise to humbly accept the nomination.
Is hereby declared the winner and returned elected as the Speaker of the House of Representatives.
Thanks for tuning in again to House Ticket. This week, the program will focus on reviews of legislative proceedings of the 10th House in the week before it adjourned for a 2-week recess, and that is from October 29th to 31st, 2024. Several motions and bills were considered and resolutions adopted based on recommendations taken to protect national interests. We also had an exclusive interview with lawmaker Jafaru Yakubu, who chairs the House Committee on Nigeria-China Relations. The program starts off fully right after this timeout. Please stay tuned. People-oriented issues were among several matters of urgent public importance discussed during plenary of 29th to 31st October 2024. These was alongside motions from the other paper as well as bills touching on critical sectors of the economy. Let us take a summary of these proceedings in our first report as compiled and presented from the studio.
During plenary in the period spanning Tuesday 29th to Thursday 31st October 2024, the lawmakers debated a bill which seeks to provide guidelines for the payment of judgment debt owed by the federal government and its agencies and for related matters. It was sponsored by lawmaker Miriam Odinaka Onuaha. In leading the debate, Representative Miriam stated that federal debts have been paid without guidance and transparency for years, and many have been paid on discriminatory manner, ignoring court orders. The bill under consideration, she stated, seeks to ensure accountability, promote financial discipline, application of due processes, and clamp down on any such abuse. She also assured the House that it will not clash with the Sheriff and Civil Processes Law.
The objectives of this bill will include to ensure that federal government and agencies conduct their activities according to the law and due process to forestall conflict and unnecessary litigation. Ensure that public servants whose action or inaction occasioned the judgment debt and this avoidable litigation which lead to judgment debt are held personally liable for their actions or inaction as provided by the public service rules and regulations.
She said this bill is different from the provision of the Sheriff and Civil Processes Law. And she did not explain the difference, so that we don't just create bills and become superfluous. The same thing that is existing, because what I notice in this bill is that the ill that she's trying to correct have been taken care of by the Sheriff and Civil Processes Law.
So my concern about this bill is it shouldn't be terminated at this level, since it's going to be referred to the appropriate committee and public hearing is going to hold where experts, stakeholders, and all the resource persons will be allowed to make submission of memos for presentation.
This bill will help to provide more revenue to Nigeria. It will help to give more trust to any investors, and it will make accountability to all the agencies to make sure that they already provided a guideline in any agency that entering any agreement of having anything to do with outsiders should be able to know that such thing such agencies should be held responsible.
If I can recall, the preponderance of requests for judgment fees in our appropriation over the years has been there. We can go through the Appropriation Act for so many years. There are different requests for monies to be appropriated for payment of judgment fees without any guidelines. And I think this kind of bill is timely. It's not an establishment bill. It's just trying to have a law that will enshrine guidelines bordering how judgment fees are paid.
The bill was then read a second time and referred to the House Committee on Justice. Still on the same day, the House also considered and passed another bill at second reading, titled A Bill for an Act to Make Provision for the Retirement Age of Health Workers in Nigeria and for Related Matters. It was sponsored by Representative Wole Ahmed. In leading the debate, Representative Wole stated that the bill seeks to make health workers who have become professionals stay longer in service and train incoming workers to ensure availability of such workers.
The way medical practice runs is that the longer you stay in practice, the more experience you have. And it is these experienced ones that are needed. It is actually the younger ones that are going out. So when we recruit back through automatic exit replacement, when we recruit younger ones, there should be people in service they will look up to.
People that are beyond the ages of 50.
Several lawmakers gave their contributions on the subject.
The Speaker, last 2 weeks, there was an advert by Federal Medical Center here, the Federal Teaching Hospital here, looking for health workers. I think the numbers of personnel wanted was just like 100, but over 1 million Nigerians applied. We have 1,001 graduates, health personnel, qualified, eminently qualified, well-trained, roaming the streets of Nigeria without job. And Mr. Speaker, if we are talking about increment in the age, retirement age, if other persons did not retire, the people who are now seeking to maintain their age wouldn't have gotten to that stage.
People that are beyond the ages of 50, 60, they are ready to stay and sacrifice for this country. This is where they want to end their days. Mr. Speaker, honorable members, we are all aware there is a medical improvement all over the world. So people at the age of 60 are still active and will have the ability to contribute their own quota for the development of their own sector.
It is proper to retire when you are strong. It is proper to retire when you can go home and farm and do some other things. You know, it's not proper to keep extending service year when we have those who are not employed.
If you go to Federal Medical Center here, there are a lot of vacancies for consultants because the consultants are not there. And they had to retain those that have already retired. Your Excellency, sir, those that are retiring now are even waiting for employment from external agencies because they know their worth.
Those in support of this bill say aye.
The bill was voted on, approved for second reading, and referred to the House Committee on Health Care.
The ayes have it.
Moving on, the House also voted and adopted a motion under matters of urgent public importance on the need for the implementation of precautionary measures to mitigate against the threat of flood to over 30 states, as well as the Federal Capital Territory.
Despite early warnings, there may not be sufficient proactive measures, such as timely evacuations, provisions of temporary shelters, and support system for affected communities. This increases the risk of severe humanitarian consequences if these warnings are not addressed through urgent actions.
Aye.
The motion was unanimously supported by lawmakers and it scaled voting.
Mr. Speaker,
I rise on behalf of the members of the House of Reps from Niger State.
Another matter of urgent public importance saw lawmakers debating a motion on the urgent need to address the persistent gridlock of the Suleja region of Niger State.
For the past 6 days, an unprecedented 18-kilometer gridlock between Lambata and Suleja has crippled the flow of traffic on Suleja-Lambata-Bida highway in Niger State, holding vehicles, tankers, lorries, trucks, and trailers and motorists hostage. Also note that this road is one of the busiest and most critical federal highways in the nation, connecting and facilitating the movement of people, goods, and services, including essential and perishable items between northern and western states. Informed that the gridlock is caused by some major potholes along Maji to Diko Junction, a key artery to the nation's capital city, Abuja.
Prayers include a call on the Ministry of Works, the Federal Road Maintenance Agency, FERMA, as well as the Federal Road Safety Corps to immediately commence the rehabilitation of the particular stretch of the road and ensure peace of the commuters. Also call on the Ministry of Works to ensure concrete evaluation for the rehabilitation of the road, and also that the House Committee on Works should ensure compliance.
This motion say aye.
The motion was voted on, adopted and referred to the House Committee on Works, as well as that on FERMA.
The ayes have it.
From the order paper was a motion titled, Need to Electrify Host Communities of the Kashimbila Multipurpose Dam and Environs.
Concerned that despite feeding the national grid with electricity, host communities of Kashimbila Multipurpose Dam remain in total darkness as they are yet to be connected to the grid. Aware that the host communities include Bibi, Bauru, Birama, Malumshe, Kashimbila, Bete, Lufu Joro, Barikilisa, Shibon, all in Takum local government of Taraba State.
The House, upon hearing the motion, resolved to mandate the Committee on Power to liaise with the Federal Minister of Power and the National Rural Electrification Agency to include the cost in the 2025 budget estimates.
This motion say aye.
It then referred the motion to the House Committee on Power for further work.
The ayes have it.
Wednesday, 30th October 2024, saw lawmakers considering a motion on the need to address flooding and gully erosion devastating communities in Birnin Kebbi, Kalgo, Bunza Federal Constituency.
Concerned that communities within Birnin Kebbi, Kalgo, Bunza Federal Constituency, including Bunza Marafa, Nasarawa 1 and 2, Digi, Kola, Tarasa, Badaria, Zauro, Ambursa, Raha, Bunza Dangaladima, Medehini, and Sabon Birni have been severely impacted by recurring floods and expanding gully erosion annually, leading to the loss of valuable farmlands that are crucial for agriculture and the local economy.
The resolutions are to urge the Ecological Fund Office and other related agencies to conduct an impact assessment of the affected communities and provide necessary funding for a robust remediation plan to mitigate the effects of flood and gully erosion. Also urge the National Emergency Management Agency, NEMA, to immediately provide relief materials to the affected communities in Birnin Kebbi, Kalgo, and Bunza Federal Constituency. Mandate the Committees on Environment, Works, and Water Resources to make adequate provisions for the construction of proper drainage systems in Birnin Kebbi, Kalgo, Bunza Federal Constituency, Kebbi State, and the implementation of erosion control measures in the 2025 budget estimate.
Of this motion should say aye.
The motion was voted on, adopted, and referred to the House Committee on Environment, Works, as well as that on Water Resources.
The ayes have it. He said, I write to inform you of my decision to decamp.
Meanwhile, on Wednesday, 30th October 2024, the Speaker announced the defection of Representative Suleiman Abubakar Gumi of Zamfara State from the People's Democratic Party, PDP, to the All Progressives Congress, APC.
With immediate effect.
The program is still House Ticket, and we have been reviewing some discussions and decisions taken just before the lawmakers embarked on the short break. We'll move on to other events on this segment as our next report features an exclusive interview we had with lawmaker Jafar Yakubu. To begin with, Representative Jafar Yakubu chairs the House Standing Committee on Nigeria-China Relations. He reveals more about the committee.
Actually, in previous assemblies, more especially the last assembly, that's the Nat'l assembly, it was a committee under foreign affairs. But now it's fully standing committee on itself. And all about the committee, it's a committee that better relationship, improve relationship between the two nations. As you are all aware, China is the second largest economy in the world, and Nigeria in Africa is the largest market, is the largest population, and the 10th Assembly deemed it fit that this committee should be inaugurated so that that bilateral relationship, that economic relationship, that people-to-people exchange should continue.
Representative Yakubu speaks on some of the challenges the committee faces.
This very important committee that doesn't have any NDA, ministry or departmental agencies to oversight or to do appropriation when it comes to budget, which is one of the constitutional role of a lawmaker, appropriation. It's a committee that deals with the embassy. It's a committee that deals with the Chinese community. Actually, it faces challenges of funding, more especially when we want to make visit to other part of the country where they have chunk of Chinese community, like Lagos, Kano, where business is booming.
The lawmaker also shed light on the existing relationship between Nigeria and China.
In larger perception, the relationship between Nigeria and China in terms of economic activities, cultural people-to-people exchange, and that better the activities of Chinese, that's the the Belt and Road initiatives. Because if you can see the changes we have in our airport or railways, I don't know whether you have access to the Lekki Deep Sea Port in Lagos. These are the projects that are visibly done by the road and Belt and Road initiatives, courtesy of President Xi Jinping initiative in Africa, particularly in Nigeria.
Against the backdrop of a high dollar rate, Representative Yakubu shared his opinion on how using the Chinese currency can add value to the current situation. He spoke from his position as the Chairman House Committee on Nigeria-China Relations.
Last year, precisely before the end of the year, His Excellency Vice President Kashim Shettima was in South Africa to attend the BRICS meeting, which I know, and I always urge the federal government to join the BRICS. Part of the FOCAB resolution, using the yuan will be an alternative to what is happening to our economy, more especially to Nigerian naira.
Away from his committee, the legislator spoke on a bill he has sponsored as a member of the 10th House.
We have a bill which was passed in the 9th Assembly, but fortunately or unfortunately was not assented by Mr. President, as President Muhammadu Buhari. And I feel it's very, very important because it's a bill to create an institution, that's Federal College of Education, Mutumbiu, which I deem it fit, and we introduced the bill, which passed first, second, and third reading at the House of Representatives. And right now, the bill was transferred to the Senate for their concurrence for the creation of Federal College of Education, Mutumbiu.
Representative Jafaru Yakubu represents the good people of Bali Gasol Federal Constituency of Taraba State in the 10th House of Representatives. House Ticket asked him what his constituents should expect from him.
I'm going to provide healthcare service ambulances, primary healthcare service ambulances for the primary healthcare centers, provisions of hospital beds, some hospital equipment to support the primary healthcare centers where the rural, the downtrodden have access to medical facilities. Very soon we are going to unveil the outreach program, the constituency program with a very big health outreach program during the constituency outreach. Part of my campaign promises, I intended to intervene into the girl-child education, more especially the younger ones going to School of Health and School of Nursing. I'm going to give them automatic scholarship in my state, which I'm already working with the State Ministry of Health, and the state government is going to be unveiled also on the day of the constituency outreach program.
Speaking generally, the lawmaker also told us what Nigerians should expect from the House Committee on Nigeria-China Relations.
China is the answer. They are the real friends of Africa, real friends of Nigeria. They are ready for us, and we are ready for them. And Nigerians should wait and see more activities in the Road and Belt Initiative, more activities in education, scholarships, more activities in the economic sector.
That was lawmaker Jafaru Yakubu. He represents the good people of Bali Gasol Federal Constituency of Taraba State on the platform of the People's Democratic Party, PDP. In another development, the House Committee on Pensions, in carrying out its assignment on the administration of pension as well as the plight of retirees under the contributory pension scheme, held a press briefing on the subject matter. It will be recalled that the committee had invited all the pension fund administrators, agencies under the national pension industry to appear, submit and present their documents, as well as address concerns raised by lawmakers. However, the NNPC pensions as well as the FCT pensions did not appear before the committee during its previous engagement with several PFAs as well as PFCs, a development which the committee is not happy with. Chairman of the committee, Representative Hussaini Mohammed Jalu, therefore briefed the press in his office on matters arising.
As a result of the refusal to attend the committee meeting has affected the committee work negatively and even slowed down the activities of the committee. We want to use this medium to once again call on the NNPC pensions and the FCT pensions to submit their assignments to the committee unconditionally to enable the committee to finalize their assignment. We are here to address the concern of retirees as expressed in the body of the above two motions. We are not after any individual or group. Addressing these concerns are important to ensure the welfare, well-being and financial stability of the pensioners and the correct trust in pension fund administrators without fear or favor. During the course of our interaction with the PFCs and the PFCs, the committee has observed a lot of things as it concerns the management of the pension funds in Nigeria. And very soon the committee will lay its report to the House at plenary with all our observations and recommendations to the House for further necessary action.
And so we end this episode of House Tickets. Do join us again on this station for more reviews of the strides of the 10th House of Representatives. Many thanks for watching. See you next week.